This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
We are back here with our friend Craig Quaglia. Yes, he's joining us live today, as always. Well, mostly, right? When he's into the Chicago area. That's right. He's in
Yeah,
Forest Park, Illinois, and he's here to talk more about his work as a myofascial trigger point therapist. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing great. My name, as you said, is Craig Quaglia, trigger point therapist, practicing medical massage therapy, myofascial trigger point therapy for 40 years, currently in a private practice. Was an instructor for 5 years. That was a great experience. The best experience was working in the clinics where you learn and work and really make big differences in people's lives. That's really
Mm-hmm.
important at that point. Mostly focused about on chronic pain intervention, maintenance, and prevention. Let's see if I can get my mouth working right today.
Oh,
All
good.
right,
We got
so
this.
we think of pain as our enemy, and sometimes it is. Mostly, it's our friend. It's the beginning to alert you that something's not correct in your body. So
Mm-hmm.
the challenge is when we ignore it for any number of reasons. We're too busy, we don't know what to do, we go through our daily life. Most of the time, it'll resolve on its own. But generally speaking, when we're talking about the pain we're going to be talking about today, we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about chronic pain
Yeah.
and things, how they progress to that. At that point, if you think of it in terms of a fire, the beginning of the pain is the smoke that says you should be paying attention. The moderate pain says it's on fire, pay attention. And by the time you get to chronic pain, it's you got too many things going on. It's going to take a lot more time, effort, and energy to get this. So it leads to all types of problems. So let's just start with the basic ones. Economic costs, lost productivity to musculoskeletal pain, up to $45 billion
Oh,
dollars a
wow.
year just in medical costs. 45
Wow.
billion, that's a
That's
big
a
deal.
lot.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
musculoskeletal conditions are the top causes of occupation-related injury. Also, increase in absenteeism.
Yeah.
And so not only do they lose out, you lose out. And then
Yep.
there's something called repetitive injury, which causes people to miss millions of work days a year. So overall productivity loss is 150 to $100 billion
Mm-hmm.
due to the absenteeism, reduced work capacity, and in some cases, and I've seen this happen, where people had to give up their job and find another one or, do something different with their life. So the personal financial impact is the thing that we are, as people, individuals, are mostly impacted by. So for pain alone, for the hands, musculoskeletal pain, it across all states for doctor's visits, PT, surgeries, medications, it all starts to add up. Out-of-pocket costs, which is something you and I would normally be, we were talking about out of pocket, you're talking about deductibles. All of a sudden, there's money going out the door and not enough money coming in. Disability and
Yep.
compensation, working place injuries can lead to disability claims, and then you're in the system and it drags out, and you got to go from doctor to doctor, do paperwork, and normally speaking, it's not a definitely not a good place you want to be. So
Yep.
the bottom line is this:
Mhm.
50 to $200 billion annually is lost.
Oof.
Impact on individuals, chronic pain can cause reduced earnings,
Mm-hmm.
early retirement, and decreased quality of life. Any one of those things by themselves can be a really big problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I said in the beginning, I want people to walk away with at least two or three ideas in their head. In the early stages of pain, that's the smoke. That's the indication you need to be paying attention to it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the medium, when you do not pay attention to it, and we go to the medium stage, the house is on fire. You have inflammation and it's beginning to spread. And more importantly, it's beginning to
Yeah.
recruit other muscles into your pain. So in the beginning and in the medium, we could still go in and impact it together and shut it down before you get to what we call the chronic pain, where everything's on fire, muscles are involved all throughout your body. And what turned out to be a relatively easy thing to deal with in the beginning now becomes complex, complicated, and resource intensive. So today we're going to focus on hand pain because this has become a big issue in the country. And there are any number of reasons for arm, wrist, hand pain. There's a normal one. Some people get arthritis. There's gout. There's aging. There's fibromyalgia. We understand why that's going on at that point. But what I've been seeing a lot lately because of the weather is when people have sudden onset pain. In other words, they're falling down and they use their arm, for instance, to break the fall. So
Mm-hmm.
what happens is they stick their arm out. It jams into the elbow, up into the shoulder blade, up
Mm-hmm.
into the neck, and that's the bad news. The good news is it's sudden onset. You can't ignore it. We get in there. I
Yep.
work with you. We work together to resolve it. I show you what to do, and it's usually a relatively slow, I mean, a relatively quick process to get you back online, working together. Now, the one that's really insidious is the slow onset pain from repetitive use by sitting at a desk all day, taking your hand, working your mouse, palming your cell phone, all those kind of things. What happens over time is it takes an acute situation because you didn't deal with it in the early stage to a chronic situation, settling into groups of muscles. And as we go through the images, this will become really clear.
Yep.
And the problem with this is you start changing how you're sitting, how you're doing things because you're trying to get through your day.
Yep.
You always sit up straight when
I
I
know. I'm
say
like,
this.
oh gosh. Oh my gosh. He's watching. I forget. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and because you get busy, your brain gets overwhelmed, and you're just doing things automatically. So what happens is you start adding insult upon insult. This causes life-changing pain. The fires are
Mm-hmm.
raging. The result is life pain, changing dysfunction, and it costs you on every level of your life: personal, physical, job, and financial. It's no longer just something you
Mm-hmm.
ignore or have to deal with, but you have to deal with it. Unfortunately, now the dealing with it is going to become more in depth and more costly. So, as I said, I'm talking about hand pain. We're going to talk about repetitive injury syndrome and how insidious it becomes by integrating other muscles to do jobs that they shouldn't be. It leads in pain, inflammation, numbness, weakness. You've heard of carpal tunnel, for
Oh
instance. Most
yeah.
people don't understand. When they get it, they begin to understand what's going on. There's something called trigger thumb that's become a big problem. What that means is the tendon is stuck in the sheath uh, around the muscle and it starts to pop. And when you go across it, it's like a trigger, it just pops. Same thing with trigger finger. So what we're going to do is um, show some examples about how complicated and how bad this can get, and at the same time, how easy it is once you understand what's going on. And once I show you what's going on and we work together, it becomes less of a problem. Okay, so now
Mm-hmm.
I can go to the share screen, correct? Is that correct? Yes,
Yes,
okay.
you can.
All righty. Where are we? Is this it? Yes, that looks like it. Will it come up?
Yes, it will.
It, oh, I have to share. Just you got to do the right thing. That's all.
Sure, sure, sure,
All
sure.
right, so we've been talking about trigger points, probably people out there. So when we're talking about a trigger point, we're talking about a hyper irritable point in the hand, in the
Mm-hmm.
muscle. Okay. The thing that's really good about a trigger point from our perspective is each one has its own unique characteristic. And as we go through this, you're really going to get this. That unique characteristics tells us where we need to go, what we need to do, and together we can do it. We can put the fire out. I can teach you to be your own fireman or firewoman in this case, and do what you need to do on a daily basis so that you do not cascade down into chronic pain. All right. So the source of the pain, and this is going to show up in the images too today, is not where the pain always lands.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's way far away. So we're going to take a quick look. We talked about carpal tunnel a moment ago. There's this band here called the retinaculum. So the yellow would be your nerves. The other colors are your tendons going through. What happens is when this swells, it compresses this area, and then you start having pain shoot through this
Mm-hmm.
area where up to the point where you can end up dropping things. And when we talk about the popping, you notice when the thumb bends here, the tendons will snap across it. Same thing of the finger. Okay. So the important part is that you get that the early
Yeah.
warning signs are the important time to pay attention, and that's the difference. Here's our old friend, the scalings we talked about. Today, we're going to
Mm-hmm.
concentrate more on the nerves coming out down into your hand. And when we go to the next image, we've talked about how you end up with pain in your shoulder, sometimes in your chest. You know, that's great to know and understand. So we've talked about all this before, but also what I want you to understand is look how far away that pain travels, down into the
Wow.
thumb, to the back of the hand. So you may get all this, or you only may get parts of this, but when you get this, you're not going to totally understand where it's coming from. And
Mm-hmm.
certainly we don't want it to get where it gets so involved that now you're in the chronic stage and then you need to see somebody like me in most cases. So, all right, let's go over here. Another muscle. So the point I would like to make here is these muscles are far away from the source of the pain. All right, so they're up here near the shoulder. This is called the brachialis. It flexes at your elbow. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 trigger points. The vast majority of them will refer pain, a deep, dull, achy pain here. But again, here we are, the second muscle that can refer pain down in the trigger point into the thumb. And you're trying to figure out what to do. You go and you do the normal thing. You might rub it, you might use heat or ice, you might stretch it, but the pain isn't going away and you don't know why. This is the part where we talk about the smoke versus the fire. You're now in between that where you're getting enough information to say you need to do things in a specific way to go
Yeah.
and start searching it out. Don't wait, is what it's really saying. So here we got another muscle. We're using the median nerve. Remember, this goes all the way back up into that trunk, into the neck. Nice, beautiful looking nerve and muscle. What happens is it becomes contracted, and the next thing you know, you have pain again going down where? Into the thumb. All
Mm-hmm.
right. All right. So here we go. Into the thumb again. Again, you're going to do the normal things. Also notice this one goes into the tip of the thumb. So now it's spreading out. Could cause confusion. You don't know where to begin to go. This is the time when you start to have problems getting through a day where, and in addition, you begin to recruit other muscles in. So we go to another muscle here that also causes a problem, and referring pain now is a little bit below the wrist. So this becomes confusing, but not only confusing, it's becoming extremely painful.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is the early warning signs. You want to pay attention to this. So if we looked at that one, okay, let's go here. Another one where the muscle pain becomes really problematic. Travels a long distance from where the actual trigger point is. Again, at the base of the thumb. Which one is it? Is it the first one we saw, thoracic outlet syndrome? Is it the brachialis? We don't know. So this is what, at this point, when I do an intake and I talk with you and we sit down and go together, we're going to begin a process called trigger point cleanup, which means I'm going to start in the base of your neck, as you saw in the
Mm-hmm.
earlier images, and start to systematically go through all these muscles to identify, here's another one, trigger points that are active in your hand and interfering with the quality of your life, in addition to causing you pain, maybe even waking you up, like the thoracic outlet syndrome. Excuse me. A lot of time people will wake up in the middle of the night with pain. Here you again, another image here. So you see what's going on here is one by one, these muscles are becoming recruited into the pain pattern and they're
Mm-hmm.
becoming hypertonic, which
Wow.
is just a way of saying overly tight.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, it's no longer a simple problem. It's become a uh, intricate problem. It needs to be addressed system and
Yeah.
section by section. And more importantly, I can teach you to do that so that you don't need me. But more importantly than that is the fact that you don't, if you wake up in the middle of the night, you're going to know
Yeah.
what to do. At the end of the day, when you want to be present to your family instead of dealing with pain, you spend a little time by the ones that are important in that you need to address. Now, here we're coming back up again. This is one of the rotator cuffs you see on the back of the shoulder here. You have your trigger points. Sometimes the pain's sharp here. But again, look at all this referring pain that can confuse you. Why? What's going on in my hand? Why is it going on in my hand? So this is where educating people, people like you and me, who want to take control of their pain and have a situation where by the end of the day, or even in the middle of the day, as the pain begins to present, that you can start to take it on and do something about it. Okay. Here we are again. This is another rotator cuff muscle. It's in the back, but truthfully, it's more in the front of the shoulder blade. So what I have to do is go into the armpit to get these three trigger points when they activate. And again, what's going on? So you may have a sharp pain here or not, but you may have a referring pain to your hand. Where do you go? What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
This is the problem with pain, chronic pain, when it starts to recruit other muscles into it. Here's another one we're going to talk about, our old friend pec minor. There we are again with the scalenes, with the brachial plexus. And notice right here, this is entrapping the nerves going down into your hand. So it'll impact your thumb. The other thing it'll do is impact the return blood flow going back in towards your heart. It won't stop it, but it'll impact it. And one of the tip-offs for me is when this happens, I know we have to go pay attention to your thumb because your thumb is a little bit swollen at that point in a lot of cases. Okay. All right. We're on a roll now.
You
All
are.
right.
Yes,
Let's
you
do.
are.
Yeah. So let's do pec major. This is the one that was under that sits over the top of minor. Look how involved this can be. And look
Mhm.
how confusing it can be. Do you have a shoulder pain? Do you have an elbow pain?
This is
What's
seven. Wait, this
going
is
on with this
7B. Wait, 7A.
7B, right?
Click on it again. Click on it again to make it bigger.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Click on it.
Click on
All right.
7B,
Okay,
the
let me come
picture.
back
Yeah,
out.
go.
Yeah, we'll
'Cause
come back out.
I'm seeing a little picture, which is fine, but click on it again and hopefully I could see the bigger picture.
It's not for, there we go. Can you see it now?
No, I can't, but that's okay. I still see it on the screen, but that's all right.
Okay.
7B. Go ahead.
All right. So the point is that again, because it has a unique characteristic, understanding the characteristics allows us to take it out, to remedy it, to stop it from recruiting other muscles into that situation. And a few weeks ago back, we talked about trapezius, mostly in the back. But there's this area here, right here, this trigger point here, where we do a pincer move and you feel pain down into your hand and fingers again. So what I want to get across here is several things. One, once the pain starts to show up, do not ignore it. Two, you want to do it on a daily basis. You want to learn how to do it. You want to do what we call a trigger point clean out. Here's another one where the pain travels far away. Again, this is more in they call this the axilla area where the trigger point is. It could be very sharp here, but again, look at the referring pain going down into your fingers. Confusing. How are you going to possibly know that you need to go here? So when we do the trigger point clean out and we identify things, we teach you how to do this. Now, so far these muscles here that we've just dealt with have what we call referring pain into your hand. This is example, and this is not even the complete list. We didn't want to get
Mm-hmm.
too crazy. But
Okay.
the point is, we begin to identify that, and then I teach you how to do it. Now, there are times when you actually have pain in your hand where you can treat it directly. Okay, so don't overdo it. There we go. So here, this is called the thinner area, or people refer to the webbing. And notice the trigger point here. Okay, again, notice how this looks a lot like some of the other trigger points that were being referred from way up in the thoracic outlet syndrome or the brachialis or whatever. Okay. The other part is look at B. Again, some of the there's some similarities between those other pain patterns. This is why in the beginning we do what we call the trigger point cleanout, so we can identify every one of these and then begin to show you how to do it yourself so that you can take control of it, save your money, save your job, have a better quality of life. Always important. Here we go again. Maybe. Are we going to behave ourselves today? No. Okay. All right. There we go. Now, just to give you an idea, we're tying it all together. All the tendons coming through, places where they can be hurt, damaged, causing swelling, the muscles that you don't realize that are actually in between your fingers, finer, smaller,
Mm-hmm.
all the connective tissue. You have, when you're dealing with your hand, you have a situation where there are, I think 27 bones and 34
Oh
muscles in your
gosh.
hand alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, think about that for a moment. That's a lot of traffic going on. There are a lot of potential areas where things can go bad, okay? So again, we're going to have one where it travels. This is called palmaris longus. This is a common one. And look at how the connective tissue just gets all inflamed and you feel the trigger point. So you go and you rub that. It may temporarily feel better, but here's the cause right here. And knowing that, and notice that it's beneath all those other muscles that we were talking about that got recruited into the pain pattern before, and they become part of the problem. Now, this is no longer a simple problem of doing one muscle. It's you got a complex problem and it's
Mm-hmm.
chronic. Okay. And we'll just take a quick look at the forearm muscles. We're going to keep you on time today. There we go. So you can see what happens here is this muscle gets involved, this muscle gets involved, this muscle, a lot of armoring. It's not just a matter of now just going in and doing a simple massage technique. We got to spend some time and work at it. We're going to systematically go all the way back up toward the neck. Then we get into the layers below this, which takes time because you got to go through these layers to get to that area. And then what happens here is you have the muscles of the thumb. Remember, we talked about trigger thumb, where
Yeah.
the thumb's,
Mm-hmm.
this tendon here starts to pop over it. And pretty soon you have discomfort going on all over the place. So here's what I really want to leave you with. We can come out of there and you will come back on the screen, I assume. Oh, there you are. Haha. Okay, so
Yay.
I want people to think of this in terms of as when you first get the early pain, this is the beginning. This is a signal. Do not ignore the signal. It's too easy to do that. And most of the time you will. But when you get to the second phase, definitely do not ignore it. The fire, the inflammation is spreading. It's recruiting muscle fibers into the pain pattern. It's causing numbness, tingling. In addition to that, when you come in and you find somebody like me, what we're going to do is sit down, we're going to go through it systematically, and I'm going to teach you to pay attention to where the pain starts. Then I could teach you how to work on it. And boy, isn't that the best place to be at the end of the day when you have some pain where you spend 10, 15, 20 minutes, maybe even in the middle of the day to break it up, because the goal is to keep you out of the chronic stage. Once we get to the chronic stage, it's going to take a lot more time, more resources. The pain's going to spread. You're going to start going from doctor to doctor. Maybe you're going to go to a hand doctor. Great. You go to the hand doctor because you got a hand pain. But if that's not the source of it, if this is not the source of it, this is the source of it, you're in trouble. And unfortunately, there's too much.
Yeah.
I don't want to criticize doctors because I know they have a lot to do, but you got to look at it more in terms of the whole arm down into the shoulder, from the shoulder down, neck, shoulder down into the forearm, arm, forearm, hand, fingers. So the bottom line
Yeah.
is when the smoke shows, pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention in the early parts of it. And this will allow you to get on top of this and save your job, save some money, save a lot of time in sitting in doctor's offices. And this is why I do what I do. And this is why people come to me, because
Mm-hmm.
we can help them with this kind of stuff. So bottom line is take care of yourself, invest time in yourself, do not ignore things. My name is Craig Quaglia. I am a
Mm-hmm.
myofascial trigger point therapist. I get the privilege to work with people and when I'm lucky, we catch them in the beginning. It's a great thing. We teach them how to take care of themselves. I teach them how to take care of themselves. My website is CraigQuagliaTriggerPointExpert.com, 708-524-8812. And on that note, I wish everybody a good day. But if there's a fire, call the fireman. Find a myofascial trigger point therapist.
Oh,
Okay?
wow. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Craig. Always a pleasure. Till next time, we'll say, right? In case we don't meet again soon, but I'm sure we will connect. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here and doing all this. You're amazing. And thank you for teaching us and your audience so much about the importance of health and, of course, how we can help, especially you.
Yes.
All right. Thank you
Especially
again,
help
Craig.
yourselves. All right. Go for it.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.